I met a gypsy.
So this talking about like maybe doing the US and then the GPs. This last GP, not this last GP, the GP before, there was all the riders came together. They basically didn't do the Saturday qualifying race. Like you got to sit on the sidelines, so you're Switzerland in this one. But what did you see from that? And I mean, it's funny. I'd actually been hearing a lot of rumblings for the first time, like really serious rumblings of just how over it the GP riders are. And I've never really, like, I'm not a really deep GP guy, you know? So for me, who's not really in it, to start hearing how unhappy GP dudes are, and then you have that, I guess you could call it almost a protest. I mean, what did you see as somebody fully on the outside of that situation?
Me as an athlete, I would like to say many more things, but for me, that whole freaking Saturday need to be gone. You seen Thomas Kjær Olsen, he's in freaking coma because of that qualifying heat. Now Maxime Renault, he broke 4 vertebrae because of that qualifying heat. Why take that extra risk on a Saturday? It means for nothing. Either just do like even like in America, great, just come there in the morning, do a practice, qualifying, 2 motors, get out of there. Where's the all Saturday for? It just, for me, it's a wasting day, especially as an athlete's kind of view, or either make a time practice. Like, you have so many guys, like either like having a bike issue or having a small crash or whatever, and then they kind of mess up their whole Sunday races because they have like last gate pick or almost like in US, the starts are pretty fair. You know, you can take a good start from basically anywhere. But like in US, like if you seen last weekend, they put the gate like this and the first turn there. So if you're not on the inside gate pick or within the top 5 inside gate picks, you'll have a pretty bad start. So like that's why, which is actually pretty good from one side because you have at least have an advantage.
Yeah.
But they should just make it a time practice because in the qualifying heat, so many things happen. And they say, yeah, but the fans want this and the fans and they pay the ticket and this and that. I understand. But without clowns, there's no show at one time. So there were so many guys already out and so many guys are being injured right now. They should have either just do a time practice. And I believe a lot of riders want that. Like most riders, what I know, they wouldn't like to race only on Sunday. Some would like to ride on Saturday too, but they don't really like that qualifying race. Because everybody says like, what's the point of taking 20 extra starts on 20 races, extra risk, and it just doesn't make sense. So I believe the same thing. For me, that whole Saturday should be gone. And I don't know exactly what happened. I hear something about the qualifying heat, like it was a lot of mud and they didn't want to redo the first turn or something, and that's why there was a lot of talk. But I wasn't there, so it's all from what I heard, and I don't know exactly what happened. And then apparently somebody from YOUTHSTREAM or in front came up and said like to guys apparently like, hey, but yeah, you guys who should run the show, all the spectators are paying to watch to see you ride. And then something happened, and then guys are in Prado and see where they also like, hey, we don't want to race, it's too dangerous and stuff like that. But once again, I don't know exactly what has happened. That's just the rumors, what I got told. But I think it's good, like in AMA Pro Motocross, at least you get paid. Like when I won 2 motos at Ironman, Davey Coombs came up to me and gave me $5,000. Like if any local farmer would come out, race a GP, you have to freaking pay $1,200 or something, or $1,000, I don't know. You win both motos, you get a shake, they shake your hand, it's like, thank you. You make no money. So you're so, like, only the top teams you get bonus from. But like in AMA motocross, when you qualify yourself, you even get money. And I think, you know, I don't want to put myself into shit, but like everybody's a bit scared to say something. Like I think in front does a lot of good things for the sport. Don't get me wrong, they do many good things. They're super professional, but at that side, you know, you could see on the gates, like in Argentina, I even made a photo and put it on Instagram. Like I think the MX2 had like 15 riders on the gate. That's bad, man. Like I've never seen that in AMA Pro Motocross. There's only 15 guys. So even on European races like Italy, there were like 25 riders on a 40 gate, 40 gates. So I think, yeah, you know, they should at least pay a little bit to the riders. I mean, not even to the top riders, like the top guys, like me, Favre, Geyser. We don't need that €1,000. But the guy who finished 20, they need that 1,000 to survive, you know, and to get to the next race and things like that. So I believe that could help, and to take out a bit of risk of not racing that Saturday, that would help. But I'm just talking as an athlete. I'm not talking If it's going to be better for the sport, yes or no, and for TV rights and whatsoever. I'm just talking pure as a athlete, how I would consider it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I understand the position that you're in. Like, it's still, like, you're going to be limited to kind of what you can say, so I completely understand. As far as there's a couple things for me. I love the sport. Like, the thing that I would, like, first thing that comes to my head when you say I want to race Tomac is like, all right, one of you guys should make $100,000. Like, I'm so pro athlete. I'm so pro rider getting what they deserve to get. It's to me, like you said, there ain't no show without clowns, unfortunately. And at the level that, you know, these guys are expected to, you know, to be from like 20th to 40th, there should be 40 gates at every MXGP. Like, how do you call it a world championship if there's 15 riders there? Like, you can't. That's like a select few who can afford to get to this race championship. That's not a world championship. If you really want to call yourself the world championship, you need 40 fucking guys in 2 classes every single race for your world championship. And for guys to be paying €1,000 I think it's around 900 it's around €1,000, I'm pretty sure, to enter a race. Like, what the fuck? Tom Brady doesn't pay to play football. He gets paid to play football. Like, they understand the relationship. Like, we're so fucking ass backwards when it comes to the way that the sport is run on some levels. There's some stuff that the sport does across the board that's incredible, but there's also some areas that are pretty fucking dark, and maybe they should get spoken a little bit more. And I mean, that's one of them, to have those riders and like to that few riders on the gate at any race. And that's been the talking point this year for me. Like, that's what I'm hearing is basically that, like, Dor, did you see the...
Yeah, we're good again. You just stopped for
Sorry, brother. Yeah, so I mean, for me, when there's 15 guys on a 40 gate grid, there's just problems. Like, there's something that needs to, you know, if you're fucking whoever runs it, you go like, whoa, okay, we've got to figure something out, because there's got to be more than 15 dudes that want to crack at being world motocross champion. And then as far as the qualifying race thing goes, man, I am so on board with that. Like, if it doesn't feel worth it to the majority of you guys, then, like, you probably shouldn't have to do it. I mean, you're right. Like, the crashes that happen in MXGP is fucking pretty gnarly. Like, you guys are just forced to send it. And, you know, there's got to be an element of rider safety that comes into play here a little bit more than what there probably is. And honestly, qualifying races are fucking boring. Really? Like, I just only ever watch the YouTube highlights that are like 4 minutes long. What I would way rather see... Now, tell me if you think this is a good idea. Let's just do what Formula 1 and MotoGP does. Let's do Q3, Q2, and Q1. And Q1 is only... So you start... Let's say you got 40 riders, right? So 40 riders do Q3. So there's a board that you come in and you can go out as Jeffery Herlings and you'll throw down a lap time that gets you in the top 20. Because for the first 10 minutes of the qualifying session, you've only got to be in the top 20, right? So you go out and you throw one heater on the first lap, you're top 20. Then you can pull in and you can chill for that rest of that 10 minutes. You can fuck with your bike. You can do whatever. You can see what other times people are doing. You can see what other lines people are doing. All right, 20 minutes. So then 20 minutes is up, or the first 10 minutes is up. Q3 drops away. So the bottom 20 riders who aren't in the top 20, they dip out. Then you move into Q2, which is the next 10 minutes. And then you've got to be in the top 10. So you, as Jeffery Herlings, you go out and you throw down a lap time. And if you get in the top 10, then come back and chill again. Like, you're only going to have to do that one lap, right? The next 10 minutes is up. So then the bottom 10 drop away again. So now for 10 minutes, you're left with the top 10 dudes. And then it's basically just a send fest for those guys. And you can play cat and mouse. You can get behind each other. You're not going to have people getting in the lines. And all that is broadcasted. And then that's what we get instead of a qualifying race. And I just think that would be so much more fun to watch. You'd see some dope shit. Like when you watch the Paris Supercross, I like GYPSY, and you see the super pole that they do at Bercy, that's my favorite shit of the whole weekend. Because, you know, like, you watching, like, fucking Marvin and Caroli and Geyser and like, Paul Lands had some crazy heaters there. Like, that stuff to me is so cool. Like, I get to see you guys do motos on the Sunday. So, I don't know if that's a good idea for you, but, I mean, to me as a fan, I would way rather watch that than watch just another qualifying race. I'm going to see 2 races that actually mean something on Sunday.
200%, my man. 200%. You know why? And when you're riding alone for a heater, you got everything in control because it's just you know? When you have a race and you go into the first turn, with so many guys, you always need to have luck that if one guy hits you or whatever and rides over you, you can be injured. You can, like, when it's just a one-lap thing, you got it more in control. So I believe what you said, it's the right thing to do. I do believe, like, in MotoGP and Formula 1, you should have a little bit of advantage on the gate. Like, Formula 1 is extreme at MotoGP, but like often in Europe, like last weekend in Germany, when they put the gate a bit like sideways and then have the first one on the left, you do have an advantage. Because if not, like, you have some occasions that, for example, like Arco di Trento track or whatever, we had 3 races last year. Why was that qualifying? Because you could get a whole shot from any gate pick you possibly wanted, you know? So you should have a little bit of advantage regarding gate pick. But like you said, they should just make a 30-minute time practice, just 10 minutes, Q3. But yeah, if there's only 15 riders, there's already straight a Q1 probably not. But Q3, but like do a Q1, Q2, Q3 from either like 15 minutes each. Then you have a 1 hour session. You have like 15 minutes, 5-minute break, 15 minutes, 5-minute break. So the guys who didn't qualify can get out, start again. Then you have a full 1 hour program for the fans to see. It's really like the fastest guy get the best gate pick. You don't have any issues with any bike problems or whatsoever. Because if you're leading a qualifying race last weekend in Germany and you have like a flat tire or you have whatever may happen or an engine failure, you're all the way outside of that gate. You even if you make a great jump out of the gate, you make a Jorge Prado start or Michael Lessie, you're still only 20th because you're so far out. So for me, like what you just mentioned is a great solution, and I believe many riders will agree with you and with me. But then the next thing is in front, you know what I mean? So and I believe also many manufacturers will support that, but yeah, it's in front who needs to support this, and that's not in my hands. And but what you just say, I believe it's a great idea.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I think it's made better for TV. You've got a 10-minute session, and then you can go to a 5-minute commercial break, and a 10-minute session and a 5-minute commercial break, and it's a great for TV package. And then I'll tell you right now, as a fan, if I can watch you on a track with 9 other of the best guys in the world, and just watch you guys like get to the cool games that would happen of like all of you guys before the start. Like I could see you guys spacing out and just pacing each other, and you'd just get this crazy train of 10 dudes that are just a roost length apart that are all trying to absolutely send it. I mean, that to me, that's the best kind of TV. And then I think the other cool thing is, you know, you've got 15 riders on the gate, right? Well, that's because it's so heavy at the top of the sport. Like the people at the top of the sport are the ones getting all of the TV time, which means they're getting all of the sponsors and all of the team support. So it makes sense why that happens, right? But so you're not going to ride much of Q3. So you're going to go out, you're going to probably leave first one off the gate. As soon as that checkered flag the green flag goes, you're probably going to do the time that's going to get you all the way through to Q1, right? So you're just going to be chilling. Yeah. You're pulling off the track. So then the top 10 dudes are probably going to do that. So then the guys that are going to be on the heaters are going to be like the David Walsh, the Jed Beatons, you know, like all those boys that are like right there kind of in the thick of it. They're going to be the ones that are on TV for that entire 10 minutes because they're the guys that are trying to put in the heaters. Like, I think that idea actually gives these guys way more opportunity to be on TV. And then you go to your sponsors and you say like, hey man, like I've been in like on TV Q2 every single race this year for like 3 laps. Here's my logo, blah 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 blah. And then he's the guy on TV, so teams are watching. Like I just think on so many levels, it gives more of an opportunity to kind of like, again, the sport's not terrible. It's just there's some like big holes right now that could easily be plugged if someone just had the fucking balls to just do it and just go for 1 year and just be like, you know what, fuck it. We're dropping the Saturday races for 1 year. We're going to turn it into a Saturday quali session, blah, do the idea that we're talking about. Don't do something different, whatever. Just have the fucking balls to just make a change, man, for 1 year and see how it goes. Like the Formula One's changing the rules every 3 years so that the whole sport gets flipped. Why can't we have some fucking balls like that? And I just think that we've got to a point, like you've got 15 riders on a gate and then you got a whole bunch of guys that just don't even want to race. Like you guys, there's a problem. So we should try and fix it.
I am 200% with you, but maybe it's an option for you to speak with the boys in front, man. Maybe you should give them the idea because it's actually a great idea, and I think it will only get better because, like you said, you'll see the race on Saturday, then you'll see the same thing happening on Sunday. But if you like you said, I went to Paris when I seen James Stewart on the heater, dude, it's gnarly, man. But I also like exactly what you said. You don't want to have a time breaks from 40 minutes because at one point you don't have control because maybe one guy did the second lap of freaking heater. You won't see him for the next 30 minutes. But if you do like 3 sessions from 10 or 15 minutes with a 5-minute break, you have like almost an hour program, which is good for TV. And then especially that Q3 is super interesting when the top guys are going for heaters and you'll see like amazing speed out there. And I believe that's a great thing. And then having always a start getting in a position that you have a small advantage compared to the rest, I believe it's a great idea. So yeah, I hope one day maybe the guys in the front will see this podcast or maybe hear it, and if not, you should tell them, my man.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.